the next slide, if the current is increased, like this I discussed, and then additive property, it is additive. Additive property requires that the response to a sum of input is the sum of the responses for each input applied separately. That is the key to the superposition theorem. So in superposition theorem, we'll see that if there are n number of sources, we'll consider each source at a time while we'll replace all n minus 1 sources by their internal resistance. Maybe it's a voltage source or maybe it's a current source. So we just replace all other source except the source which are taking at a time. So that occurs only when this additive property holds and circuit is linear. So we get V is equal to I1 plus I2 into R. So if the circuit is like this, you know all this. If there are say it is a path branch 1 and if it is branch 2. So if this is I1 and then there is another I2. Okay, so it is actually I1 into R1 plus R2. If it is R1, R2, R3, and then R4. So I1 into R1 plus R2 and then I2 into R4. So this will give you total voltage drop. So which is V1, here it is V2. So here this additive property holds. So that is the key to the superposition theorem. We say that resistor is a linear element because the voltage current relationship satisfies both the homogeneity and additive property only in this zone. Whenever we have a linear relationship between voltage and current. So VI characteristics, when it is linear, then only it holds, otherwise not. Okay. So in all cases, it may not hold. In general, a circuit is linear if both the additive and homogeneous, then only we can call it a linear circuit, or it consists of linear elements. So now let us come to the statement of the superposition theorem. What is superposition theorem? Superposition theorem states that if a linear system is driven by more than one independent power source, then total response through the circuit, through a particular element, is sum of the individual responses of each source taken at a time. Each source taken at a time. So if there are n number of sources, we'll consider only one source at a time, which we are considering, while replacing all other sources like n minus 1 sources replaced by their internal resistance. The superposition theorem states that the voltage across or current through an element in a linear bilateral circuit, it is missed out. Bilateral means there is no, what I mean by bilateral, because if we change the polarity, then that doesn't affect the circuit. So that is a bilateral. Or what is unilateral? Whenever we change the polarity, that the current through the circuit will either it will not flow and it will not be reversed on all those things. It is for the case when we have a unilateral elements in a circuit, which is diode, BJT, all those things. So when it is there in your circuit, you cannot apply it, superposition theorem. So for a linear bilateral circuit or bilateral network is the algebraic sum. Algebraic sum means you have to take care of the polarity of the current through the circuit or the voltage. So direction of the current you have to take care, or the voltage polarity you have to take care. So algebraic sum of the voltage across or voltage drop or current through that particular element due to each independent source acting alone while others are replaced by other sources replaced by internal resistance. Internal resistance, or when it is a AC circuit, it is impedance. Okay, so this is very important. If you miss out this, then it's difficult for you to get it. So what are the key points? It is applicable for linear, time varying or time invariant network. Time varying means if say your resistance is changing with time or changing with some parameter, which is temperature, because you know that resistance may have a temperature coefficient. So whenever that things are there, then also you can apply it for that particular temperature or for that particular time. It is applicable. because linearity doesn't hold. But on the whole, if you take care, if you consider it, say for a temperature range from say 0 to not 0 actually, very high temperature, maybe some 1000 to 2000, if that is the zone, then you will not having the same vi slope, so it will be changing like this, and then in that case it cannot be applicable. But at that particular operating point, say for a particular temperature, you can have it. Voltage source are replaced by short circuit in the ideal case, or the internal resistance. And current source by open circuit when it is an ideal current source. Otherwise, we have to add one resistance in parallel to the source, which is its internal resistance. So that you have to take care. It is zero or short circuit in case of ideal voltage source. It is ideal and ideal current source. But practically, you have to take care of the internal resistances. It is also applicable for the circuit having initial condition. So this applicable when you have a charge capacitor or charge inductor in a AC circuit. So that doesn't applicable for the DC network theorem, right? But it is also applicable for the initial condition. Say you have a charge capacitor and you have two charge capacitor and you discharge it through a particular resistive network. So there also you can take each capacitor at a time and you can get the net effect through that particular resistor. Okay. With dependent source, superposition theorem can be applied only when control function are external to the network, otherwise not. Okay. Dependent source I have not discussed so far. I'll be discussing later maybe. Whenever we take care of this dependent source, then only I'll try to show the problem how we can solve it using the superposition theorem, Thevenin theorem, all other things. So there will be a little bit of trick with which we have to deal the dependent sources. But for independent sources, you can readily you can apply. But dependent sources, when the control function are external to the network containing the source, so that the controls are unchanged, that time you can use it, otherwise not. Okay, that means for a particular source, say it is a current source or voltage source, it is dependent on some other current to a particular element in the network. So if it is free from network, then only you can apply. If it is dependent on the network, on the same network, you cannot apply. This theorem directly cannot be applied to computation of power because power is non-linear, because you know power is equal to I square R or V square by R. So whenever I square or V square is there, then that indicates non-linearity and you cannot apply superposition theorem there. Right? So you cannot compute the power consumption through the superposition theorem, taking each source at a time while replacing the other source by their internal resistance. So let us now take example. Okay, so here we have a resistive network with two sources. We have to find out the current through 2 ohm resistor. Okay, connection between A and B, this one, this 2 ohm resistor. So what we have to do, we have to take care each source at a time while replacing the other. So what we have, by replacing the other sources by their internal resistance. So nothing is mentioned means it is an ideal voltage source, 2 volt, 4 volt. If it is a practical, then small r that to be mentioned. So it is not mentioned means it is 0. So we have to replace the other source at a time, other source by the short circuit while taking one source at a time. So for the first one, we take only 2 volt source and we replace 4 volt source by a short circuit like this. Right? You can see I have just shorted this 2. So next task is to find out the current through this 2 ohm resistor. So how can you do that? So first of all, what you can do is you can find out the total current and then you can apply the principle of branching, or you can apply nodal analysis, whatever you feel like you can do it. So you can just take a node voltage here, VC, VA, and in that way you can solve it. So 2 minus VA by 2 ohm is equal to VA, 2 minus VC by 2. It is VC by 2, then VC by, this is what? This is 12 ohms, right? Then VC minus VA by 1. This is for node C, and then node A, VC minus VA equal to VA by 2. So VA by 2 you have to calculate, then plus VA by 3, isn't it? So if you solve it, then you can immediately get what is VA by 2. So that you have to find out. So let us write as I2 when only 2 volt source is acting. So that I think they have calculated the way it is shown, but I am not solving in their approach. Whatever you feel convenient, you can do it. Next one is to take care of the 4 volt source only, replacing. Oh, it is not solved, shown actually. So whenever we have, it is shown. Whenever we take 4 volt source, we have to replace the 2 volt source by short circuit, right? So that is what we have done, and again you can take VA, VC, and in that way nodal analysis you can solve again VA by 2. So that 2 current again you have to take I2 when only 4 volt source is acting. So if you calculate separately, then if you add them up, you will get the total current through 2 ohm resistor. And then one thing I always recommend to check, once you solve using superposition theorem, you can always try here the loop analysis or node analysis at a time, and then through that you can solve the current through the RAB, I mean 2 ohm resistor, right? So you can cross check whatever you are getting through superposition whether it is valid by solving loop analysis or mesh analysis. Okay. Any doubt so far here? This is the first example, right? So any doubt? You want me to repeat or shall I skip to the next slide?
Sir, can you repeat, please?
Sir, what you taught before the superposition principle, as we joined, few of us joined late at 12:05 p.m.
Yes, sir. We joined at 12:05.
12.5 means initially I was just recapitulating the property of linearity. What is linearity? Where we can apply superposition theorem. Okay. So what is homogeneity? What is the additive property? Like if we have a branch like this, if we have a if we have a voltage drop here V1, if this is V2, then V1 equal to I into R. So V1 equal to I into R, all those things, this addition, and then whenever if we increase the voltage source K times, then I also will increase K times. So that is the homogeneity, and the additive property indicates the validity of the linearity circuit, and then based on that only we can apply superposition theorem. What we are doing here, we are taking one source at a time. So whenever we have a linear relationship between cause and effect, this is the cause. 2 volt voltage source is the cause, and effect is the current through this 2 ampere volt, 2 ampere resistance, IAB, whatever it is. So that only holds whenever you have all the resistance which are linear. That means it is not changing with time. Like 2 ohm, it is a constant, right? So there is no nonlinearity crept in. That's why we can do it. Otherwise, we cannot do it. So then only the additive property hold. Then only we can take 2 volt at a time while replacing 4 by internal resistance. Then 4 for one case replacing 2 volt by the short circuit, and then we can add them up. Then only we can get the total effective current through the branch AB. So that actually possible because the circuit is linear and it can hold the property of additive nature and the homogeneity. Okay, so that is what I discussed for first few minutes. For this particular problem, how I have solved using nodal analysis. I told that by the theorem we can take one voltage or current, whatever it is, source at a time, while we replace the other source by the internal resistance. So that is what for the figure A or I, whatever it is, I have taken only 2 volt and I have replaced 4 volt source by a short circuit because it is an ideal voltage source. It is an ideal voltage source, right? So that we have done, and then I have to calculate the current IAB through this 2 ohm resistor. So for that, for me, I found it is easier for me if I do nodal analysis. Or otherwise, what you can do, you can take the overall you can calculate the overall current by eliminating the parallel path. So it is what? It is actually 2 ohm and 3 ohm are in parallel. So you can write it as 6 by 5. So 6 by 5 plus 1, it is 11 by 5, and then 11 by 5 and 12, that too again in parallel. So in that way you can find out the effective resistance, and then you do the branching of the current. You can calculate by branching principle, and then ultimately you can find out the current through this IAB. This is one approach. I think they have followed the same approach. The way it is solved, it is taken from a book actually. So this is one approach. If you wish to, you can follow this. For me, I found it is easier for me to use nodal analysis because we have to find out VA. If this node voltage is VA here, VA by 2 we have to calculate. So that is the current fluid. So if I solve by nodal analysis, it is easier. So that is what I have done. So I have applied KCL here. This current is flowing from 2 volt to C. And in that way it is passing through the circuits. So I have applied that 2 minus VC, this is VC actually. 2 minus VC by 2 is equal to VC by 12 plus VC minus VA by 1 ohm. So this is one nodal equation. So at node A, it is VC minus VA by 1 equal to IAB, and then this VA by 3. So IAB is nothing but VA by 2, and it is VA by 3. So this is the total current. KCL for the node A. So if you solve this, then if you can find out VA, then you can readily find out VA by 2. So which is your IAB when only 2 volt source is taken care of. Then for the other part, what I have done, I have taken 4 volt source only, and I replaced 2 volt source by short circuit. So now again, if you apply KCL at node A and node C, then things become easy. So you can again calculate what is VA by 2. So next thing is to add them up, and you have to get the value of the net current through the branch AB. So same thing you can solve using nodal analysis, using loop analysis, whatever you feel like, and you verify it. So that you cross check, I leave to you. If you cannot solve it, you just remind me in the next class, I'll solve for you. Or maybe later I can solve one and I can share with you. So this is another example where you can see you have two different sources. One is voltage source, another is current source is mixed up, and then we have to find out, determine the branch current.
Just one doubt in the previous question. We eliminated one voltage source and we found with the help of 2 volt voltage source, and then we do the second. So sir, then we'll do the algebraic sum of the current that we found in 1 and 2, and finally the current will be the final answer.
Algebraic means you have to take care of the direction. So you will see that here you have to take in this way. So whenever you take 2 volt only, current will flow like this, no? Like this. So from A to B. So we take A to B as positive direction of the current. And for the second one also, 4 volt source, whenever you replace 2 volt source, it will flow like this, but A to B is always in the same direction, A to B. So it is entering through A and then passing through B. So same direction means you have to add. If it is in the other direction, you have to use the minus sign. Algebraic sum of the current.
The same circuit can be solved by the KVL and KCL which we have done earlier, no?
We can, unless and until it is specified, solve it using superposition theorem. You can take any method which you feel like. Later we'll see that we can apply Thevenin, Norton, many other theorem is there. Whatever is convenient to you, you are free to do that. But once you are specified, like question may come in exam, you solve it using superposition theorem and verify using nodal analysis. So in that case, you have to do the both to cross check it.
Okay.
So it is better to practice. I always suggest that whenever some problems are given or whenever you will be practicing in future, try to cross check whatever you are getting. Is it correct with your method and some other method? So it will give you some sort of confidence, right? So you have done the correct thing. Any other doubt? for this one, we are supposed to calculate each branch current. Branch current we have to uh, solve using superposition theorem for this circuit. That means we have to calculate I1, I2, I3, I4, and this is the current source, so no need actually. This ideal means this open circuit. So what we have to do first, we have to take care of 120 volt only while replacing the 12 ampere source by their internal resistance. What is the internal resistance for an ideal current source? It is open circuit, right? So we will have only this much, 6 ohm. So if I redraw it, it will look like this. So 6, 3, 2, 4, right? So what we have to find out? All I1, I2, I3, I4. How can we do that? What is convenient for us to do it? Again, we can take, we can use the node analysis and we can do, or if you wish to, you can directly calculate. So I1 is equal to, basically if we solve it, it is 6 and then 3 and 6 in parallel. So it is 2, right? 6 into 3 by 9. So 2, 6 plus 2. So it is I1 is your 120 by 8. No? So it is 15, right? So I1 is your 15 ampere. I2 is what? It will be shared by these two branches. So I2 will be how much? It will be 10, right? 6 by 9. So it is 2/3 into 15, 10 ampere. I3 and I4 both are same, right? So I3 equal to I4 equal to 5 ampere. Done. This is for the one source, 120 volt taken at a time. Next is only 12 ampere source. So now you have to take care of the polarity, because whenever we draw it, we'll have to redraw it again. So direction will now change. I4 direction will change. I3 will change, right? I2 will change. I1 will also change. Agree? Because the polarity has changed, the current will flow in this way whenever you are not considering the 120 volt source. And I have replaced this 120 volt by the internal resistance, which is 0. So I have shorted the terminal. So now all the polarity got changed. So accordingly, you have to now calculate the current through this circuit. So it is basically 6, 4 plus 2, and this part it is 6 into 3 by 9, so it is 2. So how can you branch it? It is 12, and 12 will pass through 6 and 2, right? It is 6 and 2. So how can you calculate it for I3 and I4? How much will be? It is 12 into 2 divided by how much? It is 6 and this is 2. So 8. So it will be 3. So I3 and I4 will be 3 ampere. But the negative sign we have to take care only when we are taking current source alone. It is minus 3 ampere, right? And now again the other one, which is your, it is 2 by 8 and another is 6 by 8. So it will be 3 by 4, isn't it? So 12 into 3.
So can you repeat? I couldn't understand.
Actually,
Sir,
I am applying the
sir.
branching of the current.
minus 3 ampere polarity thing that
Polarity will change, because if the current flowing through this source alone means the direction will change. Now, for the first one, direction in from, if it is A, if it is B, from A to B, right? Now, whenever you will take care of the 12 volt, 12 ampere current source, then the current will start flowing through this way. So it is entering to B and going out to A. So polarity got changed, direction got changed. So I wrote minus 3.
yes
Because I
okay, sir.
assume I take the convention, whenever the current flowing from A to B, or like from, if I just name it, so in this way, so that is the positive direction. Whenever it is changing the direction, I have taken the minus sign. Then what I am doing, actually I am just uh, add one blank slide, otherwise it is
Sir,
hmm.
sir, when we are taking only the 12 volt one, then we are considering the 120 volt circuit as open circuit, a closed circuit.
Because we replace it by internal resistance. So what is the internal resistance of an ideal voltage source? It is zero, na? In case of ideal voltage
Yes, sir.
source. So zero resistance means what? Short circuit. Just simply I am connecting.
Yes, sir.
I have opened the voltage source and I have shorted that to terminal. Okay. So can you please
Okay.
tell me the values? It is solved here anyway.
Sir, which values, sir?
I am redrawing because one of you just told na that you cannot make out why what I am doing. So this was the 120 volt source which I have shorted, and then another resistance was here. Am I drawing correctly? No, no. There was a
No, sir.
sorry. Let me see, 1636324 63. This 120 I have shorted 6 I1 3 I2. This is now things will change. Direction will change because of this current source. And then 2 I3.
Sir, how ion comes 15 ampere?
I1.
Sir, I solved the circuit though.
If you just
6
replace
into,
first
6 into 3 by divided by 9 is equal to 2.
No. You have to consider 2 plus 4. That will be 6. Then the parallel circuit of 6 and 3 will be 2.
Okay.
After that, 6 plus 2 will be 8.
I
Then
have
we will
not shown
consider
each
it.
and every step actually. I thought you can understand. Anyway, I'll solve it and send you later. Or you can just go back and go through the video lecture. It will be there. Now it is removed. I have discarded all the changes I made through pen, so you will not able to see.
No, sir, understood. I could not consider 2 and 4 before.
Okay. So for the next one, it is again we have to use the current branching rule, right? So what was the solution? I1 was 15 for the first one, and then I2 was 10, and I3 and I4 was 5 ampere when only 120 was taken care of, and these are positive. And now all these things will negative because the direction will change. Now we are applying the current branching rule. So what will happen here? It is 6 and 3 in parallel. So if you solve it, it will become 2, right? 6 and 3 when in parallel, it will become 2, isn't it? 6 into 3 divided by 6 plus 3.
Yes,
So
sir, yes, sir.
it is 2, then 2 plus 2, 4. So these are again in parallel path, 4. So it will be divided like I3 and equal to I4 equal to 6 ampere, right? Half of sharing will be there. It is also 4. Here also it is 4, isn't it? Am I correct? I4 is equal to 2, I think, 6. Am I clear? Because if I redraw it, it will be like 2 ampere, then 2 ampere, then I4, like that, whenever we solve it. So this is 2, the effective resistance is 2 ampere, 2 ampere, 4 ampere. This is your 12 ampere source. Okay, so this will become what? It will become 6 ampere only because same resistance. Now this through this path, this is again 4. Here it is 4. then branching will happen in this part. 4 will be branched into 6 and 3. So it will be how much? 2/3 through I2. So I2 will be 2/3 of 4. Oh, sorry, 2/3 of 6. And I1 will be 1/3 of 6. So I2 will be what? It is 4 ampere. I1 will be
Sir,
2 ampere.
I have to say, sir, the I1 direction should be in right and the I3 direction also should be in right. I1 and I3 direction are opposite.
Yes. It will be in this way. So I1 and I3 will be added up. Sorry. Nice. Pointed out. Because current will pass through it and then it will return through this way. So direction is, let me just revise. So current will be returning, therefore it will be in this way. So now you have to check properly what is your I4 direction. I4 direction is the negative direction, but I3, it is again 6 ampere, but it is in a other direction. So it is positive. I1 is what? I1 is positive, which is 2 ampere. I3 is what? I2, sorry. I2 is the other direction, which is 4 ampere. So if you now just add them up, then you will get the effective current through each and every resistance, right? So here it is solved actually. Is it complete? Okay. So whatever I have calculated, same thing is here. And then they have added them up. We just added all these branch currents and we got the solution. So 15 plus 2 is equal to 17 ampere. Then I2, there will be subtraction. So 10 minus 4, 6 ampere. I3 will be added up. 5 plus 6, 11. I4, it will be subtracted. So this is the thing actually. Okay. So this is how each and every source you have to take care, and then you have to solve. One, I think I have shared with you. Just let me come out of this and show. It is already uploaded. You will find one folder I have prepared where in the class where I have used the where I have provided the calculation which we did for the loop analysis and all those things, because it was not properly readable now through slides. I told I'll share with you. So this is how it is properly written, all the loop equations and this matrix equation, how we can get these things which I have explained. So this is solved here. Okay. So this I am not again going through it. It is already uploaded. Then the other one is for node. So this is the nodal analysis, and for the nodal analysis, how with the help of conductance we can write it. This is also explained, just to verify whether it is correct or not. Then one more I have added just for example, another nodal analysis. How can we do it? And then we can directly write using the matrix, conductance matrix and all those things. So I have given it in two way. There one voltage source, I have done source conversion, I have replaced by current source, and in that way I have drawn actually. So just cross check whether it is correct or not. If it is not, then let me know. And there is one more problem which I want to discuss here. It is difficult for me to draw actually, so I have this is also shared. So just let me explain. Here you see there are so many sources are there. Okay, so we have to solve it with superposition
Complex.
theorem only. It's a more complex network. So how can we solve it? Calculate. Can you read it properly the way I am showing you? Is it readable?
Yes, sir. Calculate the current IAB flowing through resistor 3 ohm using.
3 ampere. So then what to do here? We have so many sources, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 sources. We consider only, I have named it like A, B, C in that way. This A, this B, C, this is D and E. So whenever we consider only source A, then what to do? Source A is a current source, so we have to replace all the voltage source which are ideal by short circuit and the current source here by open circuit. I have opened this current source. So this is how it looks like when current source. So if we do that, then this is how the circuit will change, and then by current branching principle we can find out the current IAB, that means current through this particular resistance 3 ohm, that is equal to 6 by 7 ampere, and I have given the sign given A, IAB given A means it is the current only for the source A. So next we consider source B. Source B is this. So whenever we open this, whenever we remove this current source by their internal resistance, what will happen? It is an open circuit, so it will not have any effect on the rest of the network because it is not closed actually. So this particular 2-volt source has no effect on the network. Therefore, the net current through IAB is 0 ampere. Agree? Because this is not closed now. So whenever you have added one source but you have not closed the path, it is open. So you cannot get current through any of these branch, right? So this is 0. Then we consider source C. What is source C? Source C is this one. So we have to, this path anyway will not be there. So we don't need to draw it whenever we are not taking care of, whenever we not taking care of this 3 ampere source, we have to just bypass this path. This path is not required to drawn, not needed to be drawn. So we take C source and then we open this particular 3 ampere source and then we solve it. And then again we have to consider the source D, and as usual I have not taken this path because it is a not needed because it is a open circuit because of the presence of current source. And then ultimately the final one, when we'll take E only, then the other in between this current source we have to open, that's all. So next thing is to take care of the polarity, and then you'll be able to find out the effective current through the 3 ohm resistor. Okay. So this also I have uploaded, right? I hope the superposition theorem, now it is clear how we can do it, but more you practice, more clear it will become to you. And one more thing which I have not shown for this particular theorem, the use of dependent source. So dependent source I'll first explain one day once we complete the superposition theorem, Thevenin theorem, Norton theorem, maximum power transfer. Then only we'll move to the dependent source and we'll solve a few problems using dependent source, and then things will be clear, more clear what to do whenever there will be a dependent source in the circuit. Okay. So let us close for the today's discussion. And
Okay, sir.
one more thing to tell you that 20 students, I think 20 or 19 students yet to join. Please tell me, one of you please volunteer and just note down the email ID who have not joined, and then tell me, I can manually add them up. Okay. Otherwise, I don't know. As repeatedly I told you na, to ask your friends to join, but they are not joining. What is happening in the other classes of I section? Everyone joined. 90 students joined. Anyone? See here?
Sir, actually the other classes are
10 to 15 students are every time they are missing.
Yes,
From the
every
section.
time 15 are missing. I think they have some.
So
problem
all
with,
students haven't even joined the WhatsApp official group.
Okay, but
Yes,
they'll
sir.
suffer na, because already when network theorem will be covered, then they'll be find it difficult to deal with. So if you just tell me the names, all those 20 names, na, I have all the name and email IDs, everything with me.
Sir,
So if you just
do a thing.
Yes, sir. Sir, other teachers have added all the students to their team, and you have given
Yes,
a
sir.
code
To
for
their
us to
respective
join.
team.
So I think many students were unable to join till now.
So
So-
that's why can you please tell me the name of the students, then I can manually join. Otherwise, it is very difficult for me to cross check each and every name and then add it, right? I have
Sir,
a
it would
Excel sheet
it
where.
would be better. Hello,
Hmm,
sir. It would be better if you give the name of the students to the CR, and they will find out that who are not
I
joined
can
in it.
I can share this Excel sheet with you. You just find out the name who have not joined in this class
Okay.
and give it back to
Okay.
me. I can add them manually. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. I'll be sharing shortly.
Sir,
Huh?
Okay, sir.
sir, have you taken the attendance after 12:05 p.m.?
I'll take in the beginning and again I'll take in the end. Everything is written there, huh? Who is entering at what time. So no need to worry.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'll
Thank
upload
you,
all
sir.
the files today.